Hello, this is Steve Mills here. Welcome to this video. This is part of my Results Mastery program. It's only a really small part, but this video is really done as a demonstration of the program. It's for people who are thinking about joining the program, or perhaps people who've never heard of the program but are maybe interested in growing their business. The video is called Omnipresence. I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a few minutes, but just to give you a bit of an overview of myself and Results Mastery. So for over a quarter of a century now, I've been working with small businesses in helping them to grow. I've worked with thousands of businesses, not quite all over the world, but in many countries. But most of my work's been over here in the UK. But throughout that time, I've learned from the world's leading sales, marketing and business growth experts and passed on that knowledge to small business owners. I now do that through something that has literally taken me 25 years to develop. It's called Results Mastery. It's a 12-month program to help businesses to grow, which is delivered both online through videos like this. It's delivered one-to-one through meetings with me, and it's also delivered through weekly meetings and through having an online sales and marketing plan specifically for your business. So it's a fantastic program, and thank you ever so much for your interest in it and in this video. Now, omnipresence, what is that about? Well, being omnipresent is sort of being everywhere, I suppose, and it's the one thing often missing from businesses, particularly small businesses. You take a big business like, I don't know, Apple or Nike or Coca-Cola or somebody like that, and they are omnipresent, aren't they? They're everywhere. You cannot drive down the street or pass a billboard or go onto the internet without seeing something from one of those companies. And yet in small businesses, it's our biggest problem being obscurity. Basically, nobody has heard of us. And I include myself in that to some level. If you just take the UK alone, there are 3 million businesses in the UK. And if you ask me how many of those are, you communicating with, Steve, I'd say, well, it's probably about 100,000, which is a lot more than most, but nowhere near as much as some, and certainly not to the level that I would like to be communicating. I'd like to have a database with every business in the UK on it so that I could communicate with my full market. Why would I not want to do that? And so, let me give you a quick example of why I think it's so powerful. Let's just assume that I provided a service to hotels in Portsmouth, where I live. And I know that I've got an email database of, let's say, 200 hotel owners and managers. But I also know that I've got 1,000 of them, or that there are 1,000 of them in the Portsmouth area. So there are 1,000 and I've only got 200. What does that mean? It means potentially that I'm missing out on 80% of the business that I could be getting, assuming that I'd got all my target market were at least aware of me, and I was able to send out an email, post something on social media to my market, to everybody that's connected to me. And I can't do that unless I've got omnipresence and unless I'm omnipresent. So that's really what we're going to learn today, and it's part of a system I call the 5 C's of marketing, and that's something else that I'm going to be talking to you only briefly about, because omnipresence is basically the first one. It's the first one of the C's, which is all about getting communication really going and moving forward from there. So I've got a couple of slides just to show you to start with, because I want you to start thinking about what you're doing in your business before we go into the main bit, which is, as I said, looking at omnipresence. So sort of bear with me and you know, listen to this next bit, because it is definitely of value. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is your vision. You know, if I'm ever going to get you to do anything in terms of helping you to grow your business, and you're going to take action, you're not going to do that without a vision, in my experience. So what's a vision? It's not that, like, you know, a few words of where you want to go and so on. It's for me, it's a vision of, what do I want? You know, I am where I am right now. Where do I want to be, and when do I want to get there? So, you know, you look at things like that, you know, the things that you want. What do you want? You know, do you want a house in Spain? Do you want a bigger house? Do you want things? You know, what are the things that you want in your business? What about the events and the places you want to go? Do you want to go to Australia? Do you want to visit the pyramids? Do you just want to, you know, spend more time with your family? You know, what do you want? What do you want to upgrade? Do you want to upgrade your car, your wardrobe, your jewelry, your watch? You know, what do you want in that area? Who do you want to meet? Do you want to meet the person of your dreams? Do you want to meet a celebrity or be part of something? How do you want to feel? Because ultimately those first four things are all about feeling better, aren't they? And who do you want to help? Which for me is a really big one. You may be aware we're committed to B1G1, which is buy one, give one, which is a business-based charity. So certainly some things that might be worth you sitting down after this presentation and just going through, thinking about, right, here's where I am right now and here's where I want to go. So if you want to expand your business, you know, it's very, very important to start with, to make sure you stabilize it. This section here is called stabilize, optimize, then expand. Let me give you an example of why you shouldn't expand right now if you've not stabilized it. Let's say, just for easy reckoning, you turn over £1 million. And, you know, you think, well, that's great, we're doing £1 million. But let's say that your costs are £1 million. So you're not really making any profit. If you expand and grew to 2 million or 4 million even, what's going to expand with it? Probably your costs. You know, so you're making £4 million, you're doing 4 times as much work, and you're not making any more money. That's not good. So the first thing I want to get you to do as part of this is to look at your costs. What could you save money on? Could you save 5%, 10%, perhaps even 20% of the money that you're spending right now? I do believe you probably could. So that's an increase of 20% in your bottom line profit. So, you know, there's action number one of the things that you need to do. Once you've done that, we've got to step 2, optimize. And when I say optimize, I'm talking about optimize your marketing and sales effectiveness, because there are only 2 ways of growing a business. And if the purpose of a business is to create a profit, then those 2 ways are to reduce costs and increase sales. That is it. That's the only way you can do it. So you can save 5% to 20% maybe, but how much could you increase sales by? Who knows? It could be, you know, 200, 300, 5, you know, world domination. You know, who am I to say, you know, you could never achieve that? Who knows? But the key is, I think, to work out what you've got coming in, what your costs are right now, and then, and really importantly, to work out what you want. What would success look like to you? You know, is that growing from 100,000 to 300,000 in the next 12 months? You know, if it's growing from 100 million to 300 million, that might be a little bit more of a challenge, but you understand my point here. You know where you are, know what's working, what's not, and then work out what you want, and then work out, really importantly, what you can do to achieve it. You know, do you need a coach? Do you need some advice? If you look at what you've been doing in the past, it's got you the result that you're getting right now. So it makes no sense. And I think it was Einstein's definition of insanity was to do the same thing again and again and expect a different result. So if you're doing the same marketing, the same sales, the same stuff again and again, you're probably going to get the same result. So, now is the time for change. We've just come out of COVID. Now is the time for change. Things are changing anyway, whether you like it or not. All that you really need to think about is your business going to get left behind, or are you going to change and embrace this new world? So I hope it's the latter. So before we get really started with this video, I want to just talk to you about what I call high-level thinking. High-level thinking. You've got to expand your thinking. You've got to start thinking like successful people. Because if you're always thinking, well, I've tried email and that didn't work, and I've tried Facebook advertising, no, that was a waste of money, and I've done a few exhibitions, but that didn't really work. What sort of thinking is that going to get you? Probably not too far. So we need to think differently. That's the difference between successful people and those who aren't successful. They think differently. So my first question about that is, who's got your money? Who are the best people that you could be marketing to? What's your niche? What's your super niche? Now, I don't know the answers to those questions because we've not met, but if we did meet, then perhaps we can have a conversation around that. One of the mistakes that I've seen many businesses make over many, many years is that they'll say, well, it's businesses in the UK. That's my target market. And I say, oh, right, you work with butchers, do you? And bakers and candlestick makers. Oh, no. We work with bigger companies than that. Oh, right. So what is your niche? What is the industries you work in? If it's, if you're a gym, do you specialize in, the over 50s market? Or if you're a life coach, do you specialize in helping women? Or, whatever it is. But we need to be more niched, generally speaking. My advice would be try and be more niched. But, again, I want a conversation with you before I give you that advice. What do your clients want? Here's a really good question. What do your clients want that you could provide? Do they want, in my case, pretty much they want more sales. That's what they want. They don't want nice, pretty marketing. They don't want a new website. They want more sales. They don't want a nice leaflet designed. They want more sales. That's what they want, and that's what I know they want, and that's what I deliver. Here's a great question. What would fill in the blank do if he or she took over your business? So what would Richard Branson do if he took over your business today? Now, bear in mind, he can't use his name or his money or his contacts or all the stuff that, is around the name Richard Branson. But if he took over your business, what would he do? Would he be more successful is probably another question. And I'd submit, yeah, absolutely he would. So if he did, then what would he do different to you? And I just think that is such a powerful question. One I learned a couple of years back now, but it's something that's really helped me in my business. I actually used a gentleman called Tony Robbins. Tony's probably the most successful business and personal development advisor in the world today. I think he turns over something like 3.8 billion with a B. So he's a little bit more than me. But he's very, very successful. And if he took over my business and he wasn't allowed to use his name or his money or his contacts and so on, would he be more successful than me? Of that, I've no doubt. What would he do? And that's a question we sat down as a team and asked ourselves and came up with a plan to do what Tony'd do. And we're working on that right now, by the way. So how can you multiply your revenue? Now, I've suggested by 10x, and you can do that by focusing on A, where the real money is, and B, on doing more. What's the biggest reason that your marketing doesn't work? The truth of the matter is, if you're like a lot of businesses I speak to, it's that you're playing at it. you know, you're not really focusing on it. You've probably not done any training in marketing at all, and if you have, it's only a little bit. And you know, if I asked you a question on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being awful, 5 being average, and 10 being a leading expert, where would you consider yourself to be on each element of your marketing? So let's say, for example, on search engine optimization, or running and managing Google AdWords. What about LinkedIn? What about networking? What about exhibiting? What about running Facebook advertising? What about remarketing or geofencing? They're two things that you may or may not have even ever heard of. If you're like most businesses, then you probably won't have. So, you know, if you're going to multiply, if you're going to upgrade, for me anyway, you need a coach. You need somebody there who's going to advise you and help you based on their experience to help you move forward. But, you know, I'm not here to push you down that road, but I do strongly recommend that you do that, because you know, you've got expertise in what you do operationally. You know, you're an expert at repairing cars or doing accounts or cutting hair or whatever it is your business does, but that doesn't mean you're an expert at selling what you do or marketing what you do. And you know, that's where a coach potentially could come in. Okay. So let's just talk about the golden rule, because it's one of my favorite golden rules, and that is people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. That's ultimately what this is about. It's about getting people to know, like, and trust you. You know, my example a few minutes ago about the hotel, and you know, knowing that, you know, 80% of my market don't know me. They don't like me because they've never even met me, and they certainly don't trust me. And so, you know, this omnipresence is about a cure for the biggest problem that we face right now, and that is not enough people know, like, and trust you, not enough people know, like, and trust your company, and not enough people know, like, and trust the products and the services that you offer. And it's as simple as that, and that's what we need to try to overcome. So the biggest problem, as I've said, that I see with 95%, probably more like 99%, of businesses that I speak to is this word obscurity. Let's talk about how to overcome that using omnipresence. So I mentioned earlier about the 5 C's of marketing. Let's go through the methodology step by step. Now, I want to be clear about this. This video is about crowd. It's about how to develop your crowd. The number of people. Now, I've got a question for you. How big is your crowd right now? If I said to you, you know, have you got an email list? And if so, how many people are in it? Are you connected to people on LinkedIn, which you probably are? How many people are there? What about Facebook? The same thing, and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else you're connected to. How big is that crowd? I said to you, for me, it's about 100,000 people. Now, if I included things like groups on LinkedIn, which are a sort of loosely based crowd that might know me, I could increase that to probably 1 million people. But you know, in reality, in truth, I'd say it's about 100,000 people. So, you know, that being the case, that's not bad. As I said at the time, it's probably better than most. Excuse me, better than most, but not as good as some. And now I'm going to talk about development of the crowd on the next slide, but I just want to run through this because you're probably thinking, what's the rest of this about? What's he mean, will you marry me? Well, will you marry me is, and that's over, by the way, on the right there, in case you're not thinking, what's he on about, is a saying that I believe so many businesses use ineffectively. Let me just explain what I mean. Today, I got a message on LinkedIn from a company saying, can we do your SEO, your search engine optimization for you? And I thought to myself, that's weird. Don't they know that we do search engine optimization? Why would we want to outsource our search engine optimization to one of our competitors? I don't get that. And clearly, they just sent probably an automated email out to loads of businesses, and one of which was mine. It's a bit like, you know, if I ran a Mercedes dealership and one day I get an email from BMW offering me to lease a BMW car. How crazy would that be? What a stupid thing that BMW've just done by targeting me, who actually runs a Mercedes dealership. That would be just crackers, probably. I doubt very much whether I'm going to buy a BMW and try and spend my life selling Mercedes. It just wouldn't make sense. And yet people do this all the time. They go up to strangers, be it online or in person. You know, just take, for example, a seminar or a conference, an exhibition. What happens? People walk down that aisle running the gauntlet, and they try not to make eye contact with all the people because they know they're going to try and sell you something. You know, how could you do that? How could you, you know, just go up to somebody on LinkedIn, just, you know, somebody, for example, a couple of days ago asked me to connect on LinkedIn, and literally within 2 seconds of me saying yes, they'd sent me an email that was about 10 paragraphs long, which was clearly, again, just an automated email trying to sell me a Volkswagen car because they worked for Volkswagen. It's just crackers, absolutely crackers. Much better is to build a relationship. Okay, that's what we want to do. So we want to develop strangers, we want to capture their details, and we want to start the communication going. We want to convert by initially going for coffee. Now, what does going for coffee mean? Coffee means that you agree to sort of sit down or at least have some sort of conversation. So let's say developing a crowd means I get you onto my email list. I then send you an email and you respond to that email. That's what going for a coffee is in a business world, yeah? Or perhaps you watch one of my videos, or perhaps you meet me at an exhibition, or perhaps you download a report that I've written, or you come along to my webinar, but you're doing something in response to something that I'm doing. You with me? The next bit, the convert, is your first date. In other words, your first sale. You've got to sell them something. There's no point, you know, having relationships where you just keep going for coffee. You've got to get them to commit. So what is your first sale? Well, for me, it wants to be as easy as possible. Let me give you an example. If I said to you, I've got a program, it's called How to Use LinkedIn to Grow Your Business. It's an online program, so you can gain access to about 30 odd videos showing you exactly what you need to do to win business online or on LinkedIn. And at the moment, it's £299. You think, well, that's not bad. However, I'm doing a special deal right now, and it's only £49. You think, oh wow, that's brilliant. That's a real saving, £250 saving. Now, in addition to that, I'm also offering a free 1 hour consultation with me. Now, I normally charge £300 for that, so you're going to get that free. In that consultation, we can talk about LinkedIn and how you can use it, or we can talk about another element of your marketing. In addition to that, I'm also going to give you another online training program which costs £200, and this is all about how to use video be it on LinkedIn or on your website or other social media, in order to generate leads. So you're going to get a £299 program, £300 consultation, and another £200 program. So altogether, I think that's £799 worth of service, all for £49. How does that sound? Now, for most people, they'd snatch my hand off. It's a brilliant deal. It's a fantastic opportunity. And that's my first sale. So I basically, what I'm suggesting is think of a way how you can make your first sale with somebody an absolute no-brainer. Now, assuming you've got more than a one-off sale, and assuming that your product and your service is good, then would that person want to buy more? You know, would it increase the chances of them buying more? You know the answer to that, don't you? Especially having spent an hour with me working on a one-to-one basis on their business. Do you think there's any, I mean, you know, the way I do this, I don't try and sell them in that hour, but do you think there's a chance that they would want to buy more? I'm absolutely certain of it. And then the last one, the will you marry me, so will you stay loyal to me forever, really, is about continuity. So what does continuity mean? Well, continuity for me means joining my results mastery program, where you're with me at least for a year on a ongoing program. If I was a landscape gardener, I could say, you could say, right, you know, the first sale is you come and cut my grass. The second sale is, actually, do you know what? I need my back garden re-landscaping. So we get a bigger sale than that. I then go approach you and say, look, if you'd like me to come in every month, do your grass, sort your weeds out, trim the roses, sort the trees out, and do whatever else is necessary, then it'll be a monthly fee of X pounds, and I can deliver that service. I remember my last car was a Mercedes, and that's what Mercedes did with me. They said to me, look, you know, a lot of people, when they get their bill for servicing, it comes to like £300, £400, £500. Instead of that, if you like, you can pay for it on a monthly basis. I think it cost me something like £38 a month, and for that, you know, when I took it in for servicing, then you know, there was no extra cost. Obviously, if you know it needed brakes or anything like that, that was extra, but for the standard service, that was all inclusive. So it was a really good deal, made it easy to pay, and I did that for about 4 years. Great idea, great continuity product. So that's the 5 C's. Let's go and focus on the number one thing, because without this, you know, if you're sat there thinking, oh, you know, I've only got a few hundred people on my database and I'm connected to 250 people on LinkedIn, then you are missing out. You're missing out big time, and I don't want you to do that. So let's just think about that. So number one then, first thing I want you to do in dealing with obscurity and creating omnipresence is to produce a blog post. That's all you got to do. You got to write a blog post. You're probably going to write somewhere between 500 and 800 words in order to make that effective on as far as Google's concerned. And this blog post is going to be, it's going to be a information-based post. It might have a call to, well, not might, it would also have a call to action in it. And if you want to know how to write a blog post, then, you know, there's loads of videos out there, or join my program, and, you know, there's lots of videos in there about that. But you're going to write a blog post. Now, once you've written the blog post, oh, sorry, I just for some reason clicked over to the next screen. A little bit premature there, but never mind. So when you've written the blog post and you've uploaded it to your blog, the next thing you're going to do is to post it on social media. So I hope you're using things like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. You know, I hope you're not just thinking, oh well, I don't like Facebook, I'll just use LinkedIn. That whether you like it or not is immaterial. It's irrelevant. The bottom line is your market are on there, your market are using it, and you need to use it as well. So you might want to think about that. Now, question for you. Do you post it only once? The answer is an emphatic no. You post it on a regular basis. It doesn't mean 10 times a day, but you might post this blog. When I say post, what you're doing is you might say something like, I've just written a blog post. It's about A, B, and C. Here's a link to it on my website. So you're driving traffic from social media to your website. You then take the words from the blog post and you turn it into a script. So for example, in my script, I might say, hi, my name's Steve Mills. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you just turning what was a written piece of work into what sounds more like a script for a video, because that's the next step. What you're going to do is you're going to use that script to produce a video. Now, you may be thinking, oh, you know, I don't like videos. I don't want to see myself in a video. I'm not very good at it. You know, I just say to you, get over it. You know, as Nike said, just do it is a really good way of looking at it. If you mess it up, just redo it. You know, the amount of videos that I, you know, got halfway through when I first started and then they finished with a bleep, 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 you just wouldn't believe. And now, you know, I get part way through. If I need to cough, I cough. It's not the end of the world. This is not BBC, you know, this is Steve Mills here. As long as my content's good, I'm good to go. I'm good with it. And so get that produced. And if you really, really don't like being on video, then do something like I'm doing now. Do a screen capture video. I use something called Camtasia, C-A-M-T-A-I-S-A, I think it is. You can buy the software and you can do a screen capture video just like this one, and you don't have to appear on it. So you're going to produce the video, you're then going to upload it, you're going to add it to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and a whole host of other social media sites that you might be on. And again, you're then going to promote that on your social media. So you take your YouTube video and add it to your social media. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. So your YouTube video appears on LinkedIn, for example. Next, you're going to copy the video into an audio format and then use it on your podcast. Maybe you think, I haven't got a podcast. Well, now's the time to get a podcast. Why do you need a podcast? Well, let me give you an example. My podcast, when I do a podcast right now, what happens to it? It automatically, without me doing anything ever, it gets uploaded to over 30 radio stations. But now, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about being on the radio, I'm talking about on their website. So these are radio stations that allow people to upload their podcasts and it goes out on there. But the big two for me are this. Number one, it's on iTunes. So, you know, I mean, how big is that? That, you know, this guy, Steve Mills, this marketing guy, is on iTunes with Ed Sheeran and all his mates. You know, that's really cool. And then the other one, which is just as cool, if not more so, it's on Amazon Music as well. And that gets me around about 7,000 listens every time I post a blog post. Sorry, a podcast. Okay? So it's well worth it. And I don't even have to do anything because I'm doing a video anyway. So all I do is turn my podcast on at the same time. Job's a good one. And I've finished. That's all I need to do. So it's an absolute no-brainer. I'm then going to add that video and even the podcast as well to another blog post and or add it to the original blog post. So I could either set up a new blog post with a video on it, so it becomes a vlog rather than a blog as they're sometimes called, or I just take the video and upload it to my blog post so that people can either read the post or they can watch the post, dependent on their preference. So that's quite a nice thing to be able to do. Next one, you turn the blog into an editorial. So the words into editorial and send it out to your media list. So I'm talking newspapers, magazines, industry-specific magazines, and so on. You could even turn it into a PDF and send that out via email to loads of people. And by the way, you should and could send out your YouTube video on a link to all your database. And all of a sudden, can you see how by doing all this, you're going to get omnipresent? You're going to be like everywhere. And that's what you want. You want to build those connections. And then when we start talking about getting opt-ins, you know, so people, you produce a report. If I was a landscape gardener, I might produce a report called how to ensure your soil is optimized for growing roses. Now, I don't know what I'm talking about with that, so just to clarify, but you get the idea. And then who's going to download that? People interested in growing roses, who are my target market. Yeah, so and then I get hundreds of people every month sign up to my opt-in page. They give me their phone number and their email, and I follow them up selling my rose fertilizer, for example. Okay, so we develop that. Now you think to yourself, well, is that all I need to do? Well, it's not all you need to do, but it's a good start. Probably take you 3 to 4 hours a week. When I say a week, you're not just doing this once. You're going to do this at least on a weekly basis. You might want to think about trying to do it twice a week. If you could do it twice a week, I wonder what result you could get. For me, I believe you could get a significant increase in business by doing just this one thing. This could be, if you're turning over, I don't know, £250,000, you've got a reasonable amount of contacts, and you start working on your contacts, and then you do the rest of it, which is the following them up by phone and all that sort of stuff as part of the 5 C's. You know, I think you could easily turn that into a £1 million business. And that's just with one video from the hundreds of videos in the Results Mastery program, plus working with me on a one-to-one basis, plus being part of a weekly group where we share ideas with each other. It's a fantastic program, and if you want to come along to it, then, you know, just get in touch. That's all I'd ask you to do, and we can talk about it. So thanks very much for listening. One final thing, if you want to take the next step with me, connect to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and by the way, click the little bell on the right hand side. That way you get to know when I've done a new video. YouTube will tell you, so you can keep up to date with all my videos. Sign up on my website to get my marketing and sales tips emails. Again, it's not about selling you all the time. You know, I will try and sell you, I want to be honest, but I'll provide you with lots of great tips and information and ideas to help you to grow your business, totally free of charge. To sign up for that, go to steve-mills, that's MILLS.com. Thanks very much for that. Or if you'd like to take it really to the next level, excuse me, book a free one-to-one meeting with me. Again, you have my word that I'm not going to, you know, stitch you up. I'm not going to try and sell you. I'm going to talk to you about obscurity. I'm going to talk to you about how you can get over that. I'm happy to talk to you about your website and what you're doing in terms of marketing, and really try and provide, I call it demonstrating you can help people by actually helping them. So if I help you in that meeting, and at the end of that meeting you think, oh wow, that was so helpful, then you might want to buy some more or something from me in the future. But that's down to you and not me. as I've already suggested, have a conversation with me about joining Results Mastery. I really hope you do. Or if you're, perhaps just a startup business and want to get kicked off with me, then there's this thing called the Results Academy, which, as it says there, is £47 a month. It's a total no-brainer. It's got over 100 videos, pretty much like this one. Most of which will make you a load of money. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening, and look forward to connecting with you soon. Wish you every success in your business going forward. Thanks very much.